Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm your host, Juliette Clark, and today we have a training for you. I'll get to it in a minute, but I want to remind you to go over and grab my new book. If you're an author who wants to know step-by-step how to build an author platform, you can go over to authorsuccesshandbook.com and grab my new book that'll walk you through the correct way to build a platform that actually makes sense. Because I know for many of you, you take a piece here, you take a piece there, and at the end, it doesn't all fit together. But when you build intentionally in the right way, it all fits together and you begin to see results. So today's guest is actually the host of a training I did recently. It's Jared Rosen, and Jared is the founder of Dream Sculpt, and as an innovator in digital media publishing, he has published over 50 media enhanced books for many best-selling authors, filmmakers, and has published dozens of books in print. Jared is the author of 3 books, including the groundbreaking book, The Flip. As a thought leader, he is presented in venues ranging from TEDx Malibu to McKinsey & Company, Sydney, Australia in 2000. Jared co-created the Children's Emotional Literary Process Project. Wow, it's a Monday and I can't speak. Children's Emotional Literacy Project, endorsed by Mayor Richard Riordan and Norman Lear. Now, because this is a training, there are slides. So if you want to watch the full training over on Superbrand Publishing YouTube channel, I would highly recommend it. You'll get a lot from the podcast today, but at the end, I show you a really cool AI tool for presentation. So if you're an author who's a speaker, you have to go check out this app. I literally, in real time, create an entire PowerPoint presentation on author platform building in about 2 minutes. So it really is groundbreaking stuff and it's fun to play with. So here we go.
All right, everyone. So before we get on with this incredible evening, there's so much Julie and I were talking about, just so many new variables here of how you can build audience. I just wanted to mention, I sent everyone a list. Everyone's got this. We are doing something really, really unique. And it's come out of my thought of, so many people are doing Facebook Lives or creating their own videos. And yes, we produce the trailer, the social media book videos. But what we're offering is a very talented young man, Jake, who's worked with me when he was 18. We produced 2 of these mini documentaries. He's got incredible accolades. Besides that, his grandpa was Ed Asner. He's been doing stuff in media for 10 years, and so what we're going to do is, so Jake is in LA. If anyone wants to fly in, how it would work is, and obviously you cover your costs to fly into Los Angeles. We're keeping it at a fairly low price point for what it is. You'd fly into LA, obviously get a hotel and a room that if you were shooting it in the room, there's a lot of conditions we want to make sure we're right, and in locations. So we want to go down like to the beach, all shot with professional, not on an iPhone, and edited. And the reason why I'm doing this, the idea of a mini doc of like a 2-minute, it's so much more that you can share and give an experience to. And I think it's really great positioning for other opportunities like conferences and such. So anyone that's interested, just get back to me. So this evening, we have our, I would say, our marketing guru and promotion and technology wizard, because she's always onto all the latest tools, Juliet Clark, who's going to take it from here and really kind of give you the big picture of how to create that funnel where you can bring people and build a community, around your book title.
Thank you. Can you give me permission to share, please? And you guys, this thing that Jared was talking about, I did sizzle reels back in 2016. I did the same thing. I flew into San Diego. The group did 3 sizzle reels, and then it was fantastic because now I had real video content to use on my site that showed that I was a speaker. So something to consider on there. So tonight we're going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to talk about funnels, the funnels that you absolutely need as an author. But also at the end, I'm going to demo an AI program. I'm part of an AI course, and I can't wait to show you guys because it's going to be unbelievable how quickly you can create a presentation. So digital footprint, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. In order to sell books these days, you have to have a digital footprint that attracts and builds readers in advance. This is not like a bookstore thing anymore. Books are sold online, and you need a digital presence to drive traffic to your book. And that's really what we're going to talk about tonight, is some of these funnels that we do. Funnels always scare people because you've probably seen people out there like click funnels, and they have these big complicated funnels. I'm going to kind of get ageist here and say that for most of us in the age group we are in, we have learned to communicate one-on-one. We're relationship builders. We're not like the younger kids who are, click through an extensive funnel and you never talk to someone. So the funnels don't have to be big, complicated deals. They don't need segmentation. You don't need a bunch of upsells and downsells until you're really proficient at it. Your goal here is to go from as little funnel to actual speaking to people and relationship building, because that's the way that most people of our age group, and I hope I'm not offending anybody who's younger, but that's the way we've grown up communicating. We talk to people. We don't just text and email and we're done. So whoops, I went the wrong way. So the goal of your funnel is not only to build relationships, but it's to get people in your email list. And this is really important. I know everybody out there says, I don't open email, I don't read email. Here's the problem. With everything going on social media, you don't own your social media. I have seen people lose huge audiences because Mark Zuckerberg decides that he's going to change an algorithm. Or where I saw the biggest was several years ago when he went from everybody congregates on your business page, and then he decided we needed community, so you lost visibility on your business page. And I talked to a lot of people during that time frame that lost their entire audience because they hadn't transitioned to their email list. And I'm going to tell you a really sad story about a good friend of mine who actually, I don't know how many of you guys remember MySpace, but she had a little over 350,000 subscribers to a newsletter, like a marketing magazine over on MySpace. She never got those people into her email, and she was actually generating her revenue because with an audience that big, sponsors were paying her to advertise in that newsletter. And when MySpace went out of vogue and Facebook came in, she no longer had the reach, and she lost all of her sponsors. So you have to remember that even though, you have to get creative with your list is yours. Nobody can take it away from you. Social media, you could say something political accidentally and really be deleted. So you really need to be cognizant about getting people into your list. And that's where a funnel comes in. So one of the things that happens when we start building funnels, and a lot of times with ads too, is that we think, okay, I built my funnel, everybody's just going to come. And I really want to stress to you, because if you hire someone to do an ad campaign, they're going to tell you the same thing, that there is a progression to nurturing people. I call it ARC, other people call it other things, but basically there is a chain of events that needs to happen. So your first campaign progression is awareness, because you can't build a relationship if someone doesn't know you're alive. So you're going to have an awareness campaign. Then you move into the relationship once people are aware and they start communicating to you. And then you go into the close. A lot of people think, okay, I'm going to put up a funnel and somebody's going to click and they're going to buy. something big without talking to me. That doesn't happen anymore. 2013, Jared probably remembers, 2013, 2014, people were, spending 2,000, 2,500. They would click and buy it. And a lot of times they ended up massively disappointed. So they just don't do it anymore. So the first part of the awareness campaign is, this is where I call you guys the invisible authors. And some people never get past this. You're like the invisible man. You're out there, you're working hard, but nobody's paying attention. So in this phase, this is where people start to notice you're really producing interesting content, and you're really looking at what you're doing that creates value for other people. You never, ever sell in this phase. This is really about gathering those followers, whether it's a LinkedIn newsletter and you're giving them good content once a week, whether it's a podcast and you're sending out to your list and sending out to people on social media. This is where people start to notice and compare you to the other people who do what you do. And most of the time, we don't get hired because we have great content. We get hired because somebody sees that spark and says, I like the way that person does business, or I like her personality, or I'm meshing with what she says. So this is where you really have to create, educate, and provide value in a sense, to bring them in and then keep them in. So what I call awareness assets, and inside a funnel, all of the things you have put together are called assets. So an awareness asset might be as simple as you have a quiz that draws people in, and then you have next steps for them from there. So a quiz will give them feedback when it's done correctly. There's something in it for both of you. With a quiz, you get the person taking it gets an instant gratification hit with results, and hopefully you're doing something really serious. I hate those kitschy little, oh, you're a wacky wizard. That doesn't tell me anything. So make it a serious quiz where people find out something about themselves, and you find out more about your clients, because with a quiz, you'll start to see patterns develop. And when you see those patterns develop, then you can do more of what's working. It might be an ebook. We've done several ebooks with Jared's clients lately. Might be as simple as an infographic where you're explaining something. Could be a free summit. For us, for our group, we do a free it's like a free hour live call the first Friday of every month. And by the way, Jared was supposed to remind me, but I'll say it right now. For those of you who want to get on podcast this month, our free summit on August 4th is Alex Sanfilippo, who created Podmatch. So he's going to go over how to use the software and best practices. So stuff like that, where it's really educational. Might be an audio series, might be a video series. We just did a video series for Alita Murillo, and that's what she did for her clients to bring them in. So you have to have that awareness asset that educates and gives people something of value. And a secret to that value is if you can provide something, and this is what I love about the quiz, that gives instant gratification results, people love it even more. We just have no attention span these days. So the next is the relationship phase. And the relationship phase is where now you've connected, it's time for a meeting of the mind. So on our calls on the first of the month, we started noticing that more people are showing up, people that we didn't know before. So now we're trying to find out, where did those people hear about us? How are they showing up? What's in it? What do they want? What would make them show up more? So that's really what you're looking for, is that phase where you can create marketing that allows for relationship building. So it might be that you have podcast guests. It might be that you do a webinar where you answer questions. Maybe you have a once a month call where people can come and mastermind, but it's something that usually begins unpaid, where you're providing education, but I get to talk to you now. So I get to see Tanya's face and say, hey, Tanya, what brought you here today? And then we start a conversation. So that's where we transition from that funnel into the relationship. Some relationship assets, live events, live streams, webinars, anything where you can talk to your audience and they can talk back. So it might be a live event where you're the speaker and you set up, you know, mini consultations afterwards. We did a lot of that when I was in CEO space, where we would, I would be on stage, and then we would have time blocks where people could come and talk to us, and we could give them information, sometimes even sell them. The last part is closing. You only close after the relationships are built. Cold closes are rarely successful, and a lot of times they really put off the consumer because you're asking them to part with money before they trust you. Remember the old vacuum cleaner salesman or encyclopedia salesman that used to show up at your door? I really aged myself there, but I remember my dad used to, no, get off my porch, like grumpy old man stuff. But it's because this stranger was trying to sell him something on his front porch. About the only time you ever open your door for that, for me, is when kids are selling candy bars, and then it's like, come on, give me the case. That's about the only time I will do a cold close. So it's important, though, for you to have assets in place for this as well. So having a contract, having an intake, having a way to have revenue collection and delivery. And if you can, automate all of this to make your life easier. We actually use Honeybooks, which has our contract, our intake, and our revenue collection all in one. So it all happens at the same time on the same software. So now that you know that those are the phases that you're going to go through, there are 5 essential assets that every author needs to have. And a lot of times you need to learn how to build these and then have a virtual assistant to hand them off to. But it's really important for you to be very involved in your marketing, because you can't troubleshoot if you don't know what they're doing, what the marketing company you're working with is setting up. And we used to run into this a lot when I was consulting for an ad agency. Their clients had no idea what was going on, and they didn't understand why their marketing wasn't working. And it was because they weren't involved at all. So the 5 essential assets you need is, number 1, the selling asset. This is usually a landing page. So your landing page is going to have some information about what are the benefits of what you're putting out here, even if it's just a lead magnet. You're going to have, what are the benefits of this ebook? What are the benefits of the quiz? And then have a button so you can get their email to deliver it. So landing pages, if you don't know how to build them, have them professionally built the first time so you can get a really good idea of what needs to be on it, what kind of copy needs to be on it. I can always tell when you guys write your own copy, because it is a rare person that can be a writer, a book writer, and a copywriter. Copywriting is a specific skill. The next one is your cart. You have to have a way to get paid. I have PayPal on here. PayPal is really easy to create a cart. Stripe. I know there's some other ones out there. Linda, which one do you have? I know Linda's on here. So either way, you have to have a way to be paid. So make sure that you have a cart someplace that you can put on a landing page if you're selling something. The third is your traffic asset. And this is the most important thing. I have seen people build funnels and then they don't know how to generate the traffic to get there. So this is how you attract people to your work. Speaking gigs, media, social media, paid ads, JV partnerships, and power partnerships. So this is the way that you generate traffic. I'll give you an example. Media Magic is coming up. Shannon has several partners that are also speakers at the event. We are all responsible for marketing. So we are driving our audience's traffic to her site to sign up for it. And that's what you need to do, no matter which way you do it. You can build the funnel, but you have to be able to learn how to generate traffic. And honestly, when we work with people with the author platform, it doesn't take that much to build the funnel. It's teaching you guys how to effectively drive traffic that takes so long. That's why I said start a year in advance, because there's going to be a lot of trial and error involved in this. It rarely works the first time. You'll run into glitches, you'll run into maybe the messaging needs to be tweaked. So you really need to start way before your book launch so that your book launch is effective. Asset delivery. You have to know how you're going to deliver the content that is your asset. So is it going to be from your YouTube channel? Are you going to put up a video training and mark it private so they only get the link after they've gotten an email address? Are you going to Rumble? We put things both on YouTube and Rumble. Are you going to deliver it from a Dropbox, a Google Drive? Will you have some course management software, something like Teachable, or I use Builderall? So you have to know in advance how you're going to deliver that piece of content that you are telling people that is valuable, that you want them to grab. There's a program called Lead Pages. Lead Pages will deliver the asset for you. I haven't checked in a while since I used Builderall, but it used to be around $600 a year. I don't know if it's still that expensive or not. And the fifth are your follow-up assets. Debbie, my friend Debbie owns Power Up Your Follow-Up. You would be amazed how many people hire her to teach them how to follow up. They hate follow-up. It's literally me picking up the phone and saying, hey, Rafe, we talked last week, you know, I gave you that offer, you know, what do you think? So you have to follow up. Is he going to buy it? Is he not going to buy it? You have to pick up the phone and do the work. So you have to have a system in place. Do you have a CRM? Do you have a follow-up methodology? How are you going to do that? Now, Debbie takes it a little far. She told me she calls people every single week until they say yes. I probably, if she did that, would hang up on her because that's just obnoxious. But you can do it in a much more subtle way than that and still have a follow-up methodology. But that's where you pick up the people who maybe said no the first time and now they're ready to come back with a yes. A lot of times I will get an objection that is money. So I can go back and check in with them. I just did with someone who I talked to in June who said, I'll be ready in July. I called him earlier in the week. He signed up yesterday. So it's just a matter of following up and keeping on top of it. So there are 5 funnels that every author should be thinking about using in order to make all of this happen. And I'm not going to get into the down and dirty on every one because it would be way too much information for you guys at this point. But the first one is the self-liquidating. A lot of you should be doing a webinar funnel. If you're a coach, you absolutely should have an application funnel, a lead funnel, and all of you, since you have a book, should have a launch funnel. So a self-liquidating funnel is where something you use with low-cost items. I seriously wouldn't use a self-liquidating funnel for anything over $297 because something usually over that needs a conversation, especially as we see the economy kind of pulling back a little bit and people are hanging on to their money a little bit more. Now, this can be used with or without what we call a bump or OTO, a one-time offer. So Linda's on the call. Linda, we're actually doing this with her book that's coming out at the end of August. She's going, Alicia, who works with her, is setting up a landing page with a place to buy the book. Linda will give them a signed copy. And when they get the thank you page from this, there will be a one-time offer to get a course that Linda's designed, which she's going to sell at a discounted price. So if you're going to do the one-time offer for the product, the other product, don't make it a normal price. It's one time only. You're never going to get it for this price again.
I seriously wouldn't choose a self-liquidating funnel for anything over $297 because something usually over that needs a conversation, especially as we see the economy kind of pulling back a little bit and people are hanging on to their money a little bit more now. This can be used with or without what we call a bump or OTO. Okay, I found this on the web. Try Sirius.
Wow. Okay, Siri, be quiet. I don't know if y'all are listening, but Siri is. The second is a webinar funnel. And a webinar funnel, you can do it live or you can do it on demand. In order to go on demand, you have to do it live too. So this is a free training. Usually you're going to sell something at the end. You can choose to sell, you can choose to invite people to a call. There are a lot of things you can do with this, but you're basically doing a training with some sort of offer at the end. Once you do it live, then you can do what's called on demand, and you can build a funnel around it where people can watch it anytime. So this is a good funnel. This is a good one to practice with, but also that one-on-one engagement I was talking about to build a relationship. But you have to be careful what kind of software you use. I'm going to tell you a little story here that was actually pretty funny. I showed up on one of my competitors' webinars because I wanted to see what they were doing. And she is literally on there going, oh my God, I can't believe there are hundreds of people on here today. I'm so grateful. Her software, she forgot to turn off how many people were on there. There were 27 people, and we could all see. So immediately, bad credibility. So be careful what software you use for a webinar if you're going to use a webinar funnel. This is a really great way. Kevin is putting his together right now. Kevin's a part of your group. We're going to sell his book and a call. So nothing big, just a way for him to start building relationships around the LGBTQ community. This third one is an application funnel. This is where you can offer something, but you can weed out the people you don't want. I call those people the broke ass people a lot of times, because you'll get people who, if you don't have an application, they'll show up for the call and they'll want you to solve a problem. I literally used to have people show up with that when I didn't have an application funnel, and they'd want me to tell them how to publish. And they didn't want to pay for it. They just wanted me to tell them how to do it. So if you value your time and you really want to weed out who's a good prospect, who's not, an application funnel is a really great tool to do that. So it might look like something like you give away an ebook and you offer an application to talk to you about something, but they have to fill it out. You review it, and then you look. It's really easy to build one of these if you use something like Jotform, or even Google Docs. I've even done it with Google Docs, where I have an application where they fill out information. One of the things that happened with mine that I filled out on Google Doc is I would ask them, what's your budget? And I would get a lot of zeros, and they wouldn't get to talk to me. So, that's the way that you protect your time, is with an application funnel. The fourth one is a lead funnel. And this is one that leads people to book a call with you. We use the quiz a lot for this. I'm not really big on booking calls unless I can screen, but what I love about a quiz funnel as a lead funnel is I get a lot of information about the person taking the quiz, but they get a lot of information about themselves too. So, you can always, if you don't want to lead it to a call, most of our quizzes, if you are in the high percentage of where that you really want to call, you'll get our calendar, but otherwise you're going to get a free gift as part of it if you score low on it. And the last one is a launch funnel. And this is a sales funnel. You can see we did it for a book here. And this is sort of what I was talking about with Linda too, but you can also use it as a launch funnel for your book. One of our clients did this very effectively. He did what's called a free shipping book funnel, where, and you guys have probably seen them, where it says, you pay shipping, we'll get you the book for free. Unfortunately, the wholesale price of books has gone up so much that you don't see those much anymore, because by the time you add shipping on, with the inflation that's happened in the last 3 years, the cost of books has gone up, the cost of shipping's gone up. So you could literally walk in or go to Amazon and buy the book for as much as a free shipping book funnel would cost. But you can do like Linda's doing, where she is launching and she has the ability to send people over to her site to get a signed copy. And then she's got something on the back end that she's selling too. So you can decide to sell it with a bump or without a bump, but you could do this with your books. The difference with something like this, and this is sort of hard to explain sometimes, Linda had me explain it yesterday. If books are bought from the distributors, you will find yourself, if you sell enough books, on a bestseller list. If you sell them this way, you may actually make more money if you can let go of that bestseller ego. This way will actually get rid of the 55% that the distributors require you give them. I hope Linda doesn't mind, but in the case of Linda, I believe that was $13 that she now gets to keep in her pocket by doing it this way. That would automatically go to an Amazon or a Barnes and Noble. So this is a really great way to launch your book, communicate with people, because now you have them in your list. You have their address, you have their phone number. So there's a way to communicate because you're sending out the book. When people buy the book from the distributor, you have no visibility on who's purchased it. So it just depends on what your goal is when you put together your launch funnel. So, want to know more about this? I have a new book coming out next week. And if you guys want to grab a copy, you can go to authorsuccesshandbook.com. This is the exact formula we use in Author Traffic School. And for those of you who go over, it's so funny. I'm the publisher and my book has not come into Amazon yet. I had to complain about my own book to Ingram and Lightning Source, which was really kind of like, hey, what are you guys doing? If you guys go over and buy it on Kindle and email me the receipt at Juliette@superbrandpublishing.com. If you email me the receipt and email me your address, I will ship you a copy of the book, an actual softcover copy of it. So go over to authorsuccesshandbook.com. Like I said, our exact formula from the building the avatar, and then I go really deep into all of those funnels I just talked about, with a really, really deep explanation on, how many emails do you need? What are the emails for it? How do you build the funnel? All of that is in there. Also, too, in September, we have the content creation workshop coming up again. We haven't run it for a while. I think you guys know Sarah's husband passed away, so we haven't been running it. She is back. And it's $19.99, and it is 4 sessions, 4 group sessions where we teach you how to build content from your book. And then you get 4 one-on-ones. You kind of rotate with Chris, Sarah, and I. We work with you one-on-one building your what we need to build from your particular book. So if you're interested, go over to ilovecontentcreation.com and you can sign up there. I believe it's going to be on Wednesdays. I think the dates are over on the landing page. And then to go with what Jared was talking about the videos, we now have a new bestseller campaign edition. We are doing YouTube Shorts. I am doing it on my own book this month. This is the best way to build an audience and get you to YouTube monetization quicker. They are videos that are less than 1 minute. And to give you an example, we usually have about 100 people who hit our YouTube channel and watch a video from start to finish a month because the videos are so long. The YouTube Shorts, I've had them up for 4 days and we've already gotten, I think, about 350 hits. And they're watching them all the way through. We're hitting all the metrics that we need. And I think if I had to attribute this to something, why it's happening, it's not because I'm popular. It's because people don't have attention span. So they're going right to the video that they need help with. And, you can definitely see that we have a certain amount. It looks like we have an even amount on all but one. There's one video that people have consumed 80 times. So there's that must be where people need the most help. So now for a little fun, I'm going to show you guys how to use something really fun. I'm part of an AI class, and we used last week something called it's called Gamma.app. So I put together this tool. I thought, Jared and I talked last week, and I said, I don't want to show these guys this tool until I learn how to use it. 10 minutes later, I was proficient at it, and I am no tech genius. Gamma.app pretty much designs your presentations, your documents, and can even design web pages for you. So I'm going to show you. Can you guys all see the screen? I'm going to go to presentation. So presentation, it wants to know a topic. So let's do build an author platform. So you put in what you want the presentation to be on, and it comes up with an outline for you. Do you guys see how quickly that happened? So you can look over the outline. That is exactly what I would teach you guys. So then you continue, and it'll give you some templates. So let's use, I don't want to make it too girly. Let's use this Pearl, or Icebreaker. So you choose a template, continue, and it builds your whole presentation for you. Is that cool? So you can go in and make changes, but I worked with Kevin Jones on this the other day, and we put in, he has a book called Opening the Corporate Closet. When we put his book in here as the title, it literally spit out a PowerPoint that was exactly what his course is for the LGBT community. It was unbelievable. So you guys, you saw all that. I mean, it literally just wrote my presentation. And it's pretty. I mean, I can't make PowerPoints that pretty. So, and it does it with handouts. That's actually how I found it, is in the AI class. My friend did a handout. So, and then web pages too. So questions, comments?
Wow.
Is that cool?
I have had incredible resistance on some level, and also incredible curiosity on what's the best, way to integrate whatever AI tools. And obviously the easiest one for most of us to access is the ChatGPT. It's a free download, from your app store. And so what I've discovered, and how I just started using, I just finished the next book that, I hadn't written a book for 5 years, and just taken me just a little less than a year. And I felt like there were areas that needed to be bolstered with more factual knowledge, information. But I basically wrote the book, and then as I went through each chapter, it was like, whatever that subject was, I knew there'd be more context. There'd be more that I don't know that. And so asking the right question, it produced, maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs. What I did was I copy and paste what I know I'm going to use, maybe 1 or 2 of those, all those into the manuscript I'm working on. I put it in red ink. So then when I go through and do a pass through, I know everything that I've used there. And this is really important from my perspective, since we have the conversation, is you've got to bring it into your writing. You got to sort of, weave it into your writing styles. And sometimes this is changing a few words. So the question I have, because I'm actually seeing the value in it, where it's like, how can I just have AI write a presentation? Maybe I don't even know this. Write a presentation about whatever it is, whatever subject it is. So I truly believe you need to be expert in that subject. The question, or near an expert, and for you, Juliette, is when you created that presentation, that PowerPoint, or working with Kevin, where did I understand the design, the structure of it, how it structured everything, and it dropped everything in its place, and graphics and such. But the actual topic, did it populate that with its own AI information, or was there more prompts to get it to actually congruent with the actual content that you're wishing to?
No, with Kevin's, I mean, he was stunned. He sat there and he was like, that is my exact course. And I've been working with him since January. So I sort of knew as we went through that it was exactly what he teaches. And there is a way you can go back and you can tweak. You do have to be careful with ChatGPT and statistics, because ChatGPT, 21. So if you're looking for newer statistics, you might have to go someplace else. But what ChatGPT, I actually got a book. Someone sent me a book that they wrote with ChatGPT. You could tell they wrote it with ChatGPT. It had no personality whatsoever. So you do have to be careful with that sense with it. What it's really good for is titles. It's good for writing copy. It's amazing for writing copy. We've also used Google. Google has chat. I have an AI class I go to. You guys are welcome to come to it. If you reach out to me, Juliette at Superbrand Publishing, I'll introduce you to the people at Podetize who do it. It's a half hour every Tuesday evening. And they've been using it since like 2016, 2017. So they go through and explore, and they give us homework, like go try this, see what this platform does, go to the other one. You know, we go back and forth between platforms, seeing what does what best. Overall, Jasper still does the best job out of all of them, because it has more prompts. But of course, Jasper is $100 a month versus ChatGPT. I have the paid version of it, which is $20 a month. By the way, that Gamma.app, I have the professional version. It's $20 a month. Like, I don't think for making flyers to hand out to people, I don't think you can beat that.
No, that's unbelievable. You know, so I guess some people may have some questions here. I know that, we're opening up a whole new, can of worms talking about AI, but it is true, because I just want to mention one thing. I did actually ask ChatGPT, is there a soul? Do you have a soul? And it said, no, I don't have a soul. You have to be a living being to have a soul. So there you go. So the entire book is written on ChatGPT. It's going to be soulless. And Juliet, I can tell in 5 seconds, there's something missing, but it's so phenomenal for all of this, for creating the kind of content you need in marketing and all of this. And that product seems an incredible investment for $20. Does anyone have questions?
Hold on. If you go over, I actually did a training. I believe Tracy was in June. And she actually did a training and showed how it worked with artwork, because her mother is an artist. So she told ChatGPT to go do the style of art that her mother did. And it was funny because her mother has beautiful work, and ChatGPT kind of tried to copy it, but they did a really sucky job on it. And it's too bad Anne's not on this call, because Anne would probably really get a kick out of that, being a painter.
Yeah, use everything judiciously, because, and I think it's a great tool, a great collaborative tool. And actually everything that you shared about the funnel, I mean, I know, Dustin and Ralph, we were just talking today around that as well. I bet you have a question, because this was apropos our conversation earlier in the day, using the graphic memes and such. So do you have anything to share?
Rafe may have a question, but I'll just say, Juliet, we've been listening to these sessions where you're trying to train us how to be our own media consultants to a certain degree, and really looking out for our best interests and building funnels and platforms that'll serve us a year from now, or hopefully sooner than a year from now. And this was a really great recap of some things that you've said before, but also some really great new information. In particular, the dive down into the way that there's 5 different kinds of funnels and how they work is really useful. I have to say, the AI at the end is a total mic drop. That was so cool. And you could have that conversation every week. Actually, I will reach out to you, because I'm really interested in learning a little bit more about the group that you're doing on Tuesday nights for 30 minutes. I think you said. Very cool.
Yeah, it's Tracy Hazard at Poditizes. It's their group. I think you can come for free once, and then if you don't have a podcast with them, it's like $79 a month. But I think it's totally worth it. Like, I would have never. She hasn't even presented Gamma yet. I just saw the logo, because her and I are really good friends, and I went and found it, and I have to tell you, every single client I had that day was probably so annoyed, because the first thing I did was, I gotta show you this. And I'm sure they were like, can we get to my stuff? But we took the titles of their books and we put it in, and they were all, I don't think they were annoyed. They were kind of blown away, like, oh my gosh, it just recapped my book.
Yeah, I'm sure Kevin was completely freaked out. I mean, when you build your whole career around trying to amass expertise, and then this dumb machine just spits it out for you, that's a little troubling.
Actually, it's going to help us, though, because we're at the phase of his funnel where we're putting a webinar together to have him connect. And you guys, I know you and Rafe probably, did you guys ever connect with him?
We did. Yeah.
You did. Yeah. So, we're putting that together. He's going to have a webinar, and I think he's going to start, masterminding a little bit. So that was really helpful, because he felt like when he saw it, he's like, I'm on the right track here. Yeah. I think it was really powerful for him, and it's going to help us build out what he's doing too with his webinar funnel.
Yeah. I'm sure it
Awesome.
was.
I just everyone that shares, share the title of your book and a one-liner, because there are a lot of people going to watching this on.
Do you want me? Hold on. Let me go back to it. Do we have time?
You're going to put? Are you going to put the title in? Oh God.
Yeah. What's the title of your book, Dustin?
I don't know if it's going to work. It's
the book of
It's going to be the
Eon,
biggest challenge because they haven't shared with you what the book is yet.
right?
Oh,
It's
for
the
it.
book of Eon, and it's Aeon, the book of Eon.
the book
You
of
have to put the subtitle in, right?
The
Wait a
book
minute, you
of
guys, you guys are doing a fiction,
fiction.
right?
It's an alchemical novel. It's the book of Eon, an alchemical novel.
I don't know if it'll do that with a.
Yeah, I had a feeling that would be a challenge.
Yeah, that might be a challenge with a
Yeah.
fiction book.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure you'll play with it because it's such all these tools are just available to play with, and it's going to be mixed and matched for a lot of people.
What is
100%?
does that touch it at all, Dustin?
Well, it gives you all the bullet points that you need to do yourself.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, it's useful.
Okay, so we'll do that one again. See what it gives us.
Interesting cover, huh?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
By the way, you can't do
that
what's
time I say
Wilson?
to share the cover of the book is it looks like an ancient manuscript. So it picked up on that one with the book of.
Are these the right characters?
No.
All
No,
right,
but
Yeah, it spelled it wrong too.
Did it spell it wrong or did I?
It doesn't matter. It won't matter.
Oh, it's a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
Okay, who has a nonfiction book?
Who's
I
on this
do.
call that who else?
I do,
Okay,
Linda.
go for it.
Linda, yours is spiritual. I don't know if it's gonna know. Give me your subtitle. No, hold on.
Subtitle,
The
yeah.
A Train,
Moving from your shadow into the light.
That's it.
Sedona.
Just the
Okay.
beginning. Now moving from shadow to light. See what it shows up. Because that
Okay.
is, you're giving it concrete. If you give it abstract, it doesn't know what to do sometimes.
Hold on. I have to be exact here or it will come up.
In other words, you gave the title, it would start getting into A trains in Sedona. It would
Exactly. I'm afraid if I put the A Train, we're gonna get a whole bunch of trains.
Well, it's because once again, it's only puts concrete information. That's how it computes.
Look at that. Understanding your shadow self.
Hmm.
Let's do something a little bit more girly for Linda's.
Then they have the bar. Everything's pink now with this Barbie movie. I'm going crazy. It's like pink everywhere. Have you seen it? It's the budget for that film must be like $1 billion. Breaking free, reflection, acceptance, the mask, the mirror. This is great. It really is. It's giving you.
Oh, I love
so much
it. She's
content.
got forgiveness in there, gratitude.
And do you know why all this information's in there? Because we've all been writing books forever. Where did all this stuff come from? Right? It doesn't have consciousness. So the more we develop more content and books, it's going to give people a mirror of the collective, really, of the collective psyche, collective consciousness. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Doesn't have the spirit of my book. It's soulless.
Okay.
Of course.
I was gonna send it to you, but now I won't.
I think where we're at, as we're at the conclusion of this, is these tools are phenomenal. And really, this was about the funnel. And in the funnel, you need tools, and content's really important outside of the actual book. That's the biggest challenge. How does somebody find the book? This is, I think, everything that's been shared this evening is extraordinarily valuable. So absolutely, Juliet, thank you. I know everyone that watches this video or is live on here picked up something from this. They may just go and download the what's that up again? Because it creates. That's the thing that I didn't want to leave you with. That you create curiosity. And that to me is the everything in the funnel, the mechanics of it. To me, that one thing that really works really well is curiosity. People, that's why the quiz is so powerful. That's self-reflection. It's like, oh, okay, I'm getting some self-reflection. But sometimes a curiosity, like just to conclude, because we shared the Book of Eon, an alchemical novel, that will itself, because it's distinct. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is the book? What does it sounds like? It's some scripture or something that of great value, the book of, you know. And then when you have it underneath it in the concrete, what it's defining is what it's going to be. You're going to read a novel that's somehow going to have some, and those people that are into metaphysics, it's a metaphysical novel. This alchemy is always associated in the metaphysical world. So you capture people in that have those interests, but they don't know what it is yet. Curiosity didn't kill the cat. It may have, I don't know. I don't know which cat, but they're pretty smart.
They have 9 lives, so are you sure you killed
Exactly.
it?
All right, everybody, get on it. Keep writing your books, and really thank you so much, Juliette, for being our guru here today.
Thank you. All right, you guys have a good evening. Dustin,
Well,
you have my email. Yeah.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. It was a
and send the
wonderful.
video since I didn't get to record it. Everyone's
Oh, okay. I will. I have to let it process. Okay.
yeah, after you process it, you can WeTransfer or Dropbox, whatever you use.
Okay, cool. All
Good night,
right.
everyone.
Thanks, guys.